Hello learners, welcome to BEDS 001, which is Overview and Perspectives of Values. This is the course which we have been doing for the past 2 weeks. Today we will be starting with week 3, section 1. I am your resource person, Dr. Grace Dawn Namjing. I coordinate this program. In today's session, we are going to discuss dimensions of morality. And in this section, which is section 1, the starting of week 3, section 1, we will be discussing the subsection of dimensions of morality. And in this particular session, we will be discussing who is a morally educated person, the difference between morality and ethics. When we talk about education, educated person, in the previous lectures, we have been talking about what education means. For example, if a person gets a PhD degree or an MA degree, he is an educated person because he has completed certain degree, an MA degree or a PhD degree. So he is an educated person. But then a person who is educated may not be a morally educated person, because when you are educated, you may not necessarily have those morals or those principles which makes you a morally educated person. So in today's session, we are going to discuss who is a morally educated person and then move on to the difference between morality and ethics. Why morality and ethics? Because at times a lot of people take these two terms, morality and ethics, as the same, but they are two sides of the same coin, but they have slight difference in their meanings and in what they try to do in terms of what they are, morality and ethics. So in today's session, we will be discussing the difference between morality and ethics, telling you that morality and ethics are not the same and they have a slight difference. Now let us move on to who is a morally educated person. A person who is not capable of reaching his or her autonomous moral decisions without giving proper consideration to the particular situation that is the context may not be described as a morally educated person. What does this mean? We must understand that a moral action is invariably situation dependent and not to indiscriminately follow certain course of action in accordance with the virtues we have been taught. For example, if a doctor speaks the truth to the patient that he or she is suffering from some difficult disease to be cured, difficult to cure disease, his action will not be a moral action because, well, the doctor since childhood till he became a doctor, and currently he is in a position as a doctor, all his life till currently he is serving as a doctor, he may have been taught certain moral values, have been taught some principles. And however, when it comes to telling his or her patient that he or she is suffering from a difficult to cure disease, that is, it is a fatal disease, that the disease is difficult to be cured, the disease cannot be cured, or he or she is in the last stage of that disease, then his action will not be a moral action because the doctor is not seeing the situation, he is not seeing what the situation is like, because the person may be discouraged, the person who is suffering from that disease, from that fatal disease will be discouraged, and not only the patient but also his or her family members will be discouraged. So his action cannot be a moral action. Instead of saying that the patient is suffering from a difficult to cure disease, the doctor can say, you are making a progress, there are certain tests you have to do, and we will go one day at a time, or you can meet us next week, but then I feel that you are developing well, you are in a good situation, or you're progressing well, and these are the medicines which you can take to help you to help you in managing your pain, etc. These are the words, or these are the encouragement which the doctor can say to the patient, instead of just directly telling the patient that you are suffering from a fatal disease or difficult to cure disease. Secondly, regarding positive characterization of a morally educated person, we can say that such a person should possess adequate factual knowledge relevant to the context. The relevance of such awareness is not that one can logically deduce the ultimate choices, decisions from the factual premises, but rather it enables one to size up the situation and understand the likely socio-moral consequences of acting on a certain alternative course of action. For example, if the teacher tells a student that he or she is having a low intelligence quotient, or the doctor tells a patient that the disease he is suffering from is fatal, in most cases the consequences of such truthfulness may be disastrous. Concealing the truth in such cases is far more morally good than telling the truth. Now let me elaborate a bit further. I have already talked about the situation of how a doctor should tell a patient who is suffering from a fatal disease. Let's say a teacher finds that some of his or her students are not doing well, they have low IQ and so on. What the teacher can do, instead of directly telling the student that you have a low IQ, you are not doing well, you're very weak in your studies and so on, the teacher can call a student and say that you can work harder, you are an intelligent boy or a girl, you can work hard, and by giving this encouragement, the teacher can make the person, the student, in this regard, the student who has a low IQ, to work harder and to increase his ability to learn and become a better student. So in this context, the teacher should understand that if you directly tell a student that you are a weak student or you have a low IQ level, the student may be very discouraged and he or may not feel like coming to classes. So the teacher should politely and in a very good a way of encouragement tell the student that you have great potential, you have the ability to perform very well, so you should work harder and so on. So this is how a teacher should understand the context, the situation. Likewise, I had given you the example of a doctor and a patient who is suffering from a fatal disease or a difficult to cure disease. Apart from the knowledge of non-moral facts of the case, for executing the moral choices, one should possess certain skills, especially the social skills. One must, for example, need to understand how to relate to people, get on with them, and even communicate with them. Hence, a morally educated person needs to possess knowledge and understanding of the feelings of others. For example, we live in a society where we have to respect our elders and so on. These are the values which we have been taught. So when a person who is a member of the society possesses this particular knowledge, that is to respect the elders, that is following the morals, the values which is expected of him. And also, because we live in a society, we are members of a society, we have been socialized to be members of the society, we cannot live alone because we need others. When we come to work, when we go to school, or when we are with people around us, our colleagues, we need certain skills, especially social skills. We need to communicate with others, we need to understand others, we need to have sympathy, and we need to empathize with others. So, possessing certain skills, especially social skills, is important. And apart from possessing these social skills, it is very important to have knowledge and understand about the feelings of others. For example, a person is in a situation where he is in a group and the others in the same group are from different culture, they are from different backgrounds. So the person has to be very careful in talking about certain likes and dislikes or food, or with reference to food and the way a person dress. A person should understand the feelings of others should be morally educated in terms of what to talk about, how to communicate, because people who belong to a particular society come from different background, they come from different cultures. So what you like, what you dislike may not be what a person like or dislike. It may differ from culture to culture. So apart from possessing certain skills, that is social skills, one also should be aware of the person's feelings and understanding of others, and not to hurt others in terms of being sensitive to their feelings. Such understanding feelings pertain to the affective domain of one's personality. Therefore, an emotional approach directed towards the interests, rights and feelings of others rather than only cognitive approach may be required. So, one should have a rational approach. One should also have what is called an emotional approach. Emotional approach and also rational approach is required in certain situation and in certain places. So, an emotional approach also and cognitive approach is very important to understand the feelings of others and how you interact with others and how you communicate with others. For example, my friend is hospitalized, and in such a situation my duty is to go to the hospital to see him. But for some feelings, I don't like to go there but spend time taking rest. I don't go to the hospital, I don't go and spend time with him, and I rather stay home and I spend time taking rest. What is this then? In moral context, such conflicts between reason and emotions have always remained. Emotions like attachment, greed and selfishness are a direct antithesis to morally good behavior. So out here, my friend is hospitalized, he is sick in the hospital, and my duty is to go to the hospital to see him and to give him encouragement. But I rather spend time at home by taking rest. So this does not call for a morally good behavior on my part. Out here, instead of going and helping my friend, encouraging my friend who is sick in the hospital, I become very selfish, and I rather think of myself and I take rest at home. So this does not call for a morally good behavior on my part. So we have talked about who is a morally educated person. We have talked about what defines a morally educated person. Now we move on to the next section, which is difference between morality and ethics. When we talk about morality and ethics, a lot of people, us, we tend to feel, or we tend to talk about morality and ethics as the same. Yes, morality and ethics at times are used interchangeably, but they are not the same. So in this section, we are going to discuss the difference between morality and ethics. What is morals? Morals, other words, are generally associated with personal view of values. Personal morals tend to relate to beliefs relating to sex, drinking, gambling, etc. They can reflect the influence of religion, culture, family, friends. For example, I belong to a society which does not believe in same-sex marriage. It does not believe in homosexuality. So and I have a personal, I do not adhere to, let's say I do not adhere to this view, but there are certain people who live in the same society who have a personal view about same-sex marriage, homosexuality. They may not be rigid towards this particular issue of same-sex marriage, homosexuality. So this is where your personal moral values differ from the other's personal value. That is, your moral values are associated with personal view of values. I have a certain personal moral values about certain beliefs relating to drinking, gambling, and the other members of the society may have different beliefs with regard to the same, same situation. So my moral values are associated with personal view of values, and this personal views will differ from others. My view about, let's say, drinking is that one should not drink. The other person may not have a rigid view about drinking and would say that, drinking in social events, a social drinker, you can be a social drinker, so it's not bad. So these are moral values, personal moral values which differs from person to person. So we have just talked about morals. Now let us talk about ethics. Ethics, on the other hand, is concerned with how a moral person should behave. Ethical values are beliefs concerning what are morally right and proper, as opposed to what is simply correct or effective. That is, an individual may personally believe that drinking is immoral. Further, it is unethical to impose their personal moral values on another. Ethical values transcend cultural, religious, or ethnic differences. Ethical values embrace a more universal worldview. Trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, being fair, caring, and citizenship are some important ethical values. Let me give you an example of what is ethical. For a doctor, there are certain ethical standards which he or she would adhere to. There are certain professional code of conduct which a doctor has to adhere to in his or her profession, that is the profession of medicine. And a lawyer also would also adhere to what is called certain professional ethical code. There are certain ethical code of conduct which a professional like a doctor or a lawyer has to adhere to. So when we talk about ethics, mainly is with regard to your professional job. It is more to do with your profession. It is more to do with your what you do at work. That is, there are certain ethics which you have to adhere to. For example, I come to office and my office timing is let's say it's from 9:30 to 5:30. So it is, I have to follow this work ethic, that is 9:30 to 5:30, and I have to be there in office from 9:30 to 5:30. So it is I have to follow this work ethic which tells me that I have to be in the office from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. On the other hand, morals would differ from society to society, from culture to culture. I have given you the example of homosexuality, same-sex marriages. In our society, in our society, it is not allowed. We prohibit. We do not believe in same-sex marriages. But in other society, in other Western societies, same-sex marriages have been legalized in some places. So, my beliefs in them would differ. Even in a place where same-sex marriages have been legalized, even though it has been legalized, the moral view of certain people may be against it. In the context out here in this society to which I belong to, I do not believe, I do not, I am against homosexuality, but some members may accept it, saying that you cannot help it. It is, it is a law. It is something which it is inborn, and so on. Other than this example, I'll take another example. This is with regard to monogamy. This is with regard to marriages. In our society, we adhere to what is monogamous marriage, that is one man getting married to one woman one marriage. But in a lot of other society, more than one marriages may be accepted. When we talk about certain values, moral values, it differs from culture to culture, it differs from society to society. I, as a person who believe in monogamy, monogamous marriage, may put, may not adhere to this concept of plural marriages where a man has many wives or a woman has many wives. But other members of the society may not have such rigid view about plural marriages and so on. So when we talk about moral values differ from society to society, from culture to culture. My moral values may differ from other members of the same society. But when we talk about ethics, when we talk about ethical values embrace what is called a more universal worldview. Ethical values is more or less pertaining to your work ethics, it is pertaining to your profession. For example, in the profession of law, in the profession of in medicine, there are certain work ethics, ethical values which you have to adhere to. Ethics and morals seem to appear similar on the face of it, but if one analyzes deeply, there is a subtle difference. We cannot say that ethics and morals are the same because there is a subtle difference to what is ethics, what are morals. It means it may be ethical for someone to consume meat, and at the same time, the same person may find the idea of slaughtering an animal repugnant. So the same person may like to consume meat, but that same person may find the idea of slaughtering an animal repugnant. So this is the difference. It is, for example, I say consume meat, I like consuming, let's say, chicken, but at the same time my thought of killing for the sake of consuming that meat seems repugnant. So for me it is ethical to consume meat, but at the same time I do not, my moral value is that I do not believe in what is called slaughtering an animal for having that particular meat. So this is the difference between what is ethical. My ethics tells me something, but morally I do not believe in that particular ethic. This implies that ethics define the code that a society or a group of people adhere to, while morality dwells into the right and wrong at a much deeper level, both personal and spiritual. Following ethics is thus a relatively simple affair, but morals are, however, relatively difficult to adhere to. Morals define personal character, while ethics stress a social system in which those morals are applied. I may have certain moral values which I adhere to, and those moral values may not apply to the other person, other members of the society. What I believe to be morally good may not be morally good for the other person, and it defines a personal character of me. Ethics, on the other hand, it is more universal. It is more it is more to do with your what you do at work. It is more to do with what your profession asks of you. It is more where in a society or in a social system, these are ethics, which ethics stress a social system in which those morals are applied. So when we talk about morals and ethics, morals differ from society to society, it differs from culture to culture. On the other hand, ethics would be almost the same with regard to the profession, with regard to what the society expects of a person in that particular position. For example, like I said, a lawyer or a doctor has to adhere to certain work ethics. And when we talk about morals, my morals are more personal. My morals are more personal, and ethics would be not very personal. It may have to do with something very professional. So learners, in today's session, what we have discussed are the dimension of morality. This is week 3, wherein we have discussed the subsection of dimensions of morality. And in this particular section, we have discussed who is a morally educated person, and we also have discussed the difference between morality and ethics. So I hope you have understood the difference between morality and ethics, and also you have also understood who is a morally educated person. So with this class, we have completed week 3 section 1. Thank you so much.